Hello friends. Today we're diving deep into one of the zodiac's most fascinating and electrifying pairings, the Leo man and Aquarius woman. These two are as different as fire and air, quite literally, but when they come together, the result can be nothing short of dazzling. This cosmic connection is marked by excitement, challenge, growth, and yes, a little bit of drama. But is it true love, or just a temporary spark? Can these two powerful individuals make it work in the long run, from romance to friendship to business partnerships? Let's explore their connection in 5 essential areas: love, sex, marriage, friendship, and business. Love compatibility, passion meets idealism. Magnetic attraction between opposites. When a Leo man and an Aquarius woman first encounter each other, it's like witnessing two completely different worlds align in a single moment: sunfire and stardust, pride and paradox. Leo, a fire sign ruled by the blazing sun, embodies warmth, self-assured energy, and an insatiable desire to love and be loved in return. He lives life loudly, his affections are unmistakable, his emotions often worn right on the sleeve of his designer jacket. In contrast, Aquarius, the air sign ruled by Uranus, thrives on distance and perspective. She's intellectually charged, futuristic, and values her individuality above all. She approaches love not with roses and poems but with ideas, depth, and originality. Yet, despite these differences, or precisely because of them, the pull between them is undeniable. The Leo man is struck by her mind, sharp, inventive, defiant of norms. She doesn't need him, and that mystique is magnetic. The Aquarius woman, meanwhile, finds herself drawn to Leo's unshakable presence. He's larger than life, unapologetically expressive, and doesn't blink in the face of her eccentricity. He's bold where others retreat, he sees her weirdness and dares to adore it. Their attraction is not based on similarity but on polarity. Like the sun chasing the stars, they orbit each other with increasing fascination. Each challenges the other's core nature, and in that challenge lies the irresistible allure. Emotional dynamics and romantic expectations. Once this magnetic connection begins to evolve into something deeper, the real complexities arise. The Leo man doesn't fall quietly. He showers his partner with affection, admiration, and dramatic declarations of loyalty. He needs to feel chosen, celebrated, and secure in the knowledge that his efforts are being seen. But Aquarius operates on a different wavelength entirely. Her love is not loud, it's layered, nuanced, and often hidden behind walls of logic and emotional independence. She values connection, yes, but not at the cost of personal space. This emotional disconnect can cause confusion. Leo, who thrives on immediate emotional feedback, may find himself staring into a void of cool detachment. He might ask, why isn't she more affectionate? Doesn't she feel as deeply as I do? Meanwhile, Aquarius may view Leo's constant need for attention as emotionally demanding or even needy. She could interpret his grand gestures as unnecessary drama, wondering why love can't just be instead of always being shown. But there's a deeper opportunity here. Leo's warmth can melt Aquarius's ice, not by force, but through consistency and respect. If she feels safe to be herself, her emotional world will slowly unfold in fascinating, unexpected ways. At the same time, Aquarius can teach Leo that not all affection needs to be loud to be real. Sometimes, love speaks in quiet presence, in shared laughter over obscure jokes, in the freedom to grow alongside someone who never tries to cage your soul. The emotional dynamic between them is not fixed, it's fluid. And if they're patient, it evolves into something neither of them expected, a love both grounded and free, passionate yet liberating. Growth through contrast and mutual challenge. What makes this pairing truly unforgettable isn't how well they get along, it's how much they make each other grow. Leo is the fixed fire sign, burning with steady intensity, often resistant to change. Aquarius is the fixed air sign, intellectually stubborn but always future-focused, always asking, what's next? This combination means that while both partners are deeply committed to their own ideals, they're also capable of transforming each other in ways that are nothing short of revolutionary. For the Leo man, loving an Aquarius woman is an invitation to step outside his comfort zone. He learns that being adored isn't always the point, sometimes it's about respecting someone's need to be unapologetically themselves. He starts to see the beauty in detachment, not as rejection, but as trust. He realizes that true love isn't about being worshipped, it's about being understood. Aquarius, meanwhile, finds herself softened by Leo's loyalty and passion. She begins to realize that vulnerability doesn't equal weakness, and that allowing someone to see your heart doesn't mean you're giving up your independence. Leo teaches her the richness of emotional generosity, the kind that doesn't demand change but inspires it. His passion doesn't limit her freedom, it fuels it. Of course, the road isn't smooth. Their differences can ignite fierce arguments, Leo's pride clashing with Aquarius's idealism, his desire for validation at odds with her need for autonomy. But in every fight, there's a chance to learn. If they choose to listen instead of react, support instead of control, they build a love that defies convention and grows stronger with every challenge. Sex compatibility, explosive and unpredictable. Magnetism meets mayhem, the spark that starts the fire. When a Leo man and an Aquarius woman enter the realm of physical intimacy, it's less of a gentle seduction and more like lighting a fuse on a bundle of fireworks, bright, unexpected, and impossible to ignore. Leo brings the fire, undeniable passion, a performer's flair, and a deep desire to please. His sexual energy is rooted in confidence and a need to feel both adored and adoring. He doesn't just want sex, he wants an experience, something worth remembering, a show-stopping event where both lovers walk away feeling exhilarated. Aquarius, however, brings the lightning. Her erotic energy is mental, unconventional, and ever-evolving. She approaches sex with a cool detachment that's actually filled with curiosity and intention. It's not about romance for her, it's about stimulation, about trying something new, about pushing limits and challenging expectations. This means she's full of surprises, roleplay, unusual kinks, sudden switches in mood or style. She doesn't need candles and soft music, she might prefer weird playlists, unconventional locations, or conversations mid-act that throw Leo completely off guard. And yet, that's exactly what pulls him in. She doesn't behave like anyone else he's been with, and that novelty keeps him intrigued. He sees her as a puzzle he can't quite solve, and Leo loves a challenge. In turn, Aquarius is drawn to the sheer vitality and warmth of Leo's presence. He's alive in every moment, completely engaged, and totally unafraid of giving his all. She may not match his emotional intensity, but she respects how invested he is in making sex not just enjoyable, but transformative. Power plays and passion games, when opposites electrify. In the bedroom, Leo and Aquarius form a high-voltage connection that often defies logic. Leo, ruled by the sun, thrives on being the center of attention. He wants to be the hero, the lover, the fantasy fulfilled. He's not just passionate, he's theatrical. His lovemaking is laced with intensity, rhythm, and a boldness that says, "Watch me make you melt." He gives generously and expects reciprocation, not just in action, but in admiration. He wants to hear it, see it, feel it. Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, the planet of revolution and unpredictability, doesn't follow scripts. She likes to surprise, subvert, and sometimes even provoke. Where Leo seeks emotional fireworks, she brings psychological thrill. She might push his buttons just to see how far she can go, throwing a curveball into the mix and watching how he reacts. One night she's deeply involved and experimental, the next, she's more aloof and intellectual, observing the encounter as much as she participates in it. It's never the same twice, and that's precisely what makes it so addictive. This push and pull creates a uniquely electric tension. Leo wants more closeness, more emotional expression, Aquarius wants more variation, more freedom. If they try to control each other, the whole thing can fall apart. But if they allow their differences to become assets instead of obstacles, their sex life turns into an evolving art form, spontaneous, exciting, and sometimes downright wild. They might find themselves in a power dynamic neither fully expected, Leo leading with passion and presence, Aquarius leading with ideas and surprises. But instead of clashing, these dynamics can weave into something extraordinary, so long as Leo learns to loosen his grip on control, and Aquarius learns to value consistency as much as novelty. Emotional distance versus erotic depth, the need for balance. For all their fireworks and experimentation, Leo and Aquarius can hit a critical wall if they don't learn to emotionally attune to each other. Leo's sexuality is intimately tied to emotional expression. When he gives himself, it's not just physical, it's soul deep. He wants to feel desired not just in the body, but in the heart. If he senses detachment or disinterest, even if it's just Aquarius being in her own mental space, it can cut him deeply. He needs reassurance that the heat between them isn't just physical, it's personal. Aquarius, however, can sometimes be so mentally focused that she disconnects from the emotional core of intimacy. For her, sex is a space to explore, imagine, and liberate, not necessarily to become emotionally entangled. She may view Leo's desire for affection as limiting or overly traditional, missing the point that it's not about control for him, it's about meaning. A marriage of fire and air, uniting passion with vision. A marriage between a Leo man and an Aquarius woman isn't the picture of classic domestic bliss, it's something far more interesting. It's a blend of heart and intellect, tradition and rebellion, passion and progress. These two don't just commit to each other, they commit to an idea of what their life could be, a partnership that breaks the mold, challenges norms, and grows stronger precisely because it's not built on predictability. Leo, as a fixed fire sign, enters marriage with unwavering loyalty and the drive to build a life that's both stable and spectacular. He wants to provide, protect, and most of all, inspire. He dreams of a marriage that turns heads, where love is visible, strong, and celebrated. He thrives on connection and attention, and he seeks a spouse who reflects his sense of pride in their union. Aquarius, meanwhile, brings a completely different set of expectations. She doesn't just question the rulebook, she throws it out. She values loyalty too, but not as blind devotion. Her loyalty comes from deep intellectual respect, from feeling seen and accepted as her whole, weird, wonderful self. She doesn't want to be owned or idolized, she wants to be understood. Marriage, to her, is not a role to play, but a journey to share. She's not afraid of commitment, but she'll only commit if it means freedom within the bond. Put them together, and what do you get? Sparks, for sure. Some tension. Absolutely. But more importantly, the foundation for a relationship that dares to be different, and succeeds not despite the differences, but because of them. Navigating love languages and emotional expectations. One of the biggest challenges Leo and Aquarius face in marriage is understanding how the other expresses love. Leo thrives on romantic expression, he gives love loudly and wants to receive it the same way. Compliments, attention, public affection, acts of service, these are how he knows he's valued. He wants to be the star in his partner's sky, and in marriage, he needs to feel celebrated, not just tolerated. Aquarius, in contrast, often communicates love through actions that are less obvious but deeply intentional. She may not fawn over Leo or indulge in dramatic displays, but she'll support his dreams, challenge his ideas, and stand by him during crises without flinching. Her love is consistent rather than performative, and often filtered through her intellect rather than her emotions. This can lead to miscommunication. Leo might feel emotionally underfed, while Aquarius may feel that Leo's expectations for constant emotional reinforcement are draining or even performative. But if they take time to learn each other's emotional dialects, something remarkable happens. Leo starts to see that love doesn't always have to be loud to be real. Aquarius begins to recognize that affirming your partner's emotional needs doesn't compromise your independence, it enhances the connection. Leo teaches Aquarius to let her guard down emotionally and celebrate the romantic side of marriage. Aquarius teaches Leo that vulnerability can come with boundaries, and that real intimacy is often built in the quiet, consistent moments, not just the grand ones. The emotional journey of their marriage is not linear. It requires patience, openness, and the constant willingness to retranslate the signals they give each other. But when they commit to that process, they build an emotional fluency that makes their bond uniquely deep and resilient. Shared purpose and the power of teamwork. What truly sets a Leo man and an Aquarius woman apart in marriage is their potential to become a formidable team, a couple that not only loves each other, but builds something meaningful together. Leo brings structure, vision, and the motivational energy to keep pushing forward. He's a natural leader who inspires through enthusiasm and confidence. Aquarius brings creativity, innovation, and the social intelligence to connect with diverse communities. She's a natural visionary who sees potential where others see chaos. Together, they can create a shared life filled with purpose. Whether they're starting a business, raising a family, creating art, or working for a cause, they bring out the best in each other when they're united by a goal. Their marriage may not be filled with candlelit dinners and weekend getaways, though Leo will definitely push for those, but it will be filled with progress, ideas, and a sense that they are doing life together, not just coexisting. Friendship compatibility, kindred spirits with a twist. A meeting of minds and moxie, when Leo and Aquarius become friends. There's something quietly electric about the friendship between a Leo man and an Aquarius woman. It doesn't always start with instant connection, sometimes it's a slow burn, a gradual realization that each brings something to the table the other didn't know they needed. Leo, the fixed fire sign, exudes loyalty, generosity, and charisma. He lights up a room and pulls people into his orbit with his sheer presence. As a friend, he's someone you feel, loudly, proudly, and consistently. He'll cheer you on when you succeed, defend you when you're under fire, and show up big, whether it's for your birthday, your breakup, or your TED Talk. Aquarius, on the other hand, is the cool breeze to Leo's blaze. A fixed air sign, she values independence, intellect, and meaningful connections that go beyond the surface. She doesn't need to be the loudest in the group, but when she speaks, people listen. As a friend, she's not gushy or overly sentimental, but she's deeply present in her own unique way. She's the one who texts a weird article at 2 a.m. because it reminded her of a conversation you had last month. She won't always say, "I love you," but she'll help you build a website for your passion project or challenge you to think bigger when you're stuck in small thinking. When these two come together as friends, their differences don't divide them, they expand each other's worlds. Leo adds warmth, passion, and a sense of celebration to Aquarius's sometimes cerebral approach to life. Aquarius brings in new ideas, quirky adventures, and a refreshing ability to step back and see the bigger picture when Leo gets too caught up in the spotlight. Their dynamic is a dance between the heart and the mind, between spontaneous fun and thoughtful innovation, and it works. Strengths in contrast, why their differences make them stronger. Leo and Aquarius often click as friends precisely because they're not trying to be carbon copies of each other. Leo thrives in environments where loyalty and enthusiasm are front and center. He's the type of friend who will hype you up before your job interview, organize the group trip, and remind everyone that life is meant to be lived, not just discussed. His energy is palpable, his intentions are sincere, and his loyalty runs deep. He doesn't do casual friendship. When Leo's your friend, you know it. Aquarius, in contrast, tends to approach friendship from a more intellectual, purpose-driven place. She's not about surface-level connections, she wants friends who challenge her, who get her odd sense of humor, who don't flinch when she questions the status quo. She's a visionary, often a bit detached emotionally, but never flaky. If she calls you her friend, it's because she genuinely respects who you are and sees potential in your path. She might not show up with balloons, but she'll show up with a plan to help you quit your job, start your dream company, and maybe even save the world in the process. Together, Leo and Aquarius cover a lot of ground. Leo brings the fire that keeps things alive, spontaneous road trips, heartfelt conversations, bold support when things get tough. Aquarius adds a layer of insight and originality, deep discussions at 3 a.m., weird but fascinating documentaries, invitations to art shows or grassroots meetups you didn't know existed. Their friendship thrives on stimulation, whether emotional, mental, or experiential. And because they don't need each other to be the same, they give each other the space to shine in their own ways. Challenges that strengthen, not shatter, the bond. Of course, even the strongest friendships aren't without their friction, and Leo and Aquarius are no exception. Leo's emotional openness, his need to be appreciated, and his love of loyalty can sometimes feel overwhelming to the more emotionally self-contained Aquarius. She might find his passionate declarations and need for affirmation a bit theatrical, even unnecessary. Meanwhile, Leo might misread Aquarius's detachment as indifference, wondering why she doesn't show up with the same level of enthusiasm he naturally gives. But here's the magic: because this is a friendship, not a romance, the stakes are lower, and the room for personal space is greater. Leo doesn't expect Aquarius to be constantly present, he just needs to know she's genuinely there. And Aquarius, in turn, appreciates that Leo doesn't demand she change, he simply wants to connect. The absence of romantic pressure allows them to accept each other's quirks more easily. Leo learns to appreciate the quiet loyalty of Aquarius, and Aquarius learns to admire Leo's courage in expressing his feelings so freely. Business compatibility, vision meets drive. A dynamic duo in the making, when Leo's drive meets Aquarius's vision. When a Leo man and an Aquarius woman come together in business, they're not just launching a project, they're igniting a movement. These two aren't the types to clock in, follow orders, or play it safe. They're creators, leaders, revolutionaries in their own right. But what makes their partnership extraordinary isn't just their individual power, it's the way their vastly different energies complement each other, turning contrast into chemistry and ideas into impact. Leo, ruled by the sun, steps into the professional world like it was made for him. He's not afraid of the spotlight, in fact, he thrives in it. As a fire sign, he radiates confidence, passion, and presence. He's the boss who inspires with his words, motivates with his energy, and commands attention with effortless flair. Leo brings drive, decisiveness, and an unshakable belief in success. If you need someone to sell the dream, build the team, and rally the troops, Leo's your guy. Then there's Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, the planet of innovation, disruption, and originality. She doesn't just think outside the box, she's never even seen the box. She's the strategist behind the curtain, the futurist who sees what others miss. With a mind wired for big-picture thinking and a heart tuned to progress, Aquarius brings groundbreaking ideas, intuitive systems, and a refusal to settle for the status quo. She's the one sketching the future while Leo builds the present. Together, they have the potential to create not just a business, but a brand, a vision, a legacy. Leo brings the fire, Aquarius brings the spark of genius. One leads with charisma, the other leads with ideas. This isn't just a partnership, it's a power shift waiting to happen. Balancing strengths, Leo's command meets Aquarius's clarity. The reason this business duo can go from good to great lies in the perfect contrast of their core traits. Leo is action-oriented. He leads with heart, takes risks boldly, and wants to win, not just for himself, but for the mission. He's the kind of leader who builds culture, energizes people, and breathes life into brand identity. People follow him because they feel something, his certainty, his warmth, his ambition. Put Leo at the front of the boardroom, and everyone's leaning in. Aquarius, meanwhile, doesn't care much about applause, she's focused on solutions. Her mind moves fast, sometimes faster than she can articulate. She's the one who sees patterns in chaos, who rethinks the model instead of patching the old one. Her approach is often cool, rational, and highly progressive. She's the architect of new systems, new platforms, and new ways of working. She might not demand the spotlight, but when she speaks, people realize just how far ahead she's thinking. This is why they work so well. Leo can sell the vision that Aquarius crafts. Aquarius can innovate the structure that Leo builds upon. He gives form to her ideas. She gives depth to his ambition. In a perfect scenario, Leo is the brand ambassador, team motivator, and executive presence. Aquarius is the product mastermind, creative disruptor, and silent strategist. They don't compete for the same space, they expand it for each other. However, for this synergy to hold, each must resist the urge to dominate. Leo must learn to appreciate the value of ideas he doesn't fully understand. Aquarius must accept that charisma and emotion are valid, even necessary, in leadership. If they learn to see each other not as rivals, but as rare assets, they become unstoppable. Potential pitfalls and the path to power. Of course, no high-performance duo comes without its share of friction. Leo, with his strong desire for recognition, control, and decision-making power, can sometimes bulldoze without meaning to. He wants to lead from the front, but if he's not careful, he might silence Aquarius's quieter, but no less important, contributions. He thrives on hierarchy, and if his ego isn't kept in check, he might expect loyalty without offering enough flexibility. Aquarius, on the flip side, resists structure, especially rigid authority. She bristles at top-down leadership and can view Leo's emotional investment as dramatic or distracting. Her approach is deeply collaborative, often horizontal, and she can become frustrated when ideas are dismissed just because they aren't immediately flashy or profitable. She also values autonomy to a degree that might seem aloof or even defiant to Leo's more hands-on style. Final thoughts: a dynamic and unforgettable pair. The relationship between a Leo man and an Aquarius woman is not for the faint of heart. It's a clash of egos, ideals, and emotional languages, but it's also a meeting of minds, dreams, and hearts. In love, they're drawn to each other by mystery and difference. In sex, they surprise and awaken new parts of each other. In marriage, they create a unique bond full of growth and learning. In friendship, they support each other like no one else. In business, they can lead revolutions. This is a relationship of evolution, not stagnation. It forces both individuals to grow, challenge their assumptions, and reach for something greater. If the Leo man can embrace the unpredictable brilliance of his Aquarius woman, and if she can open her heart to his passionate soul, they can truly be a love story written in the stars.